Concentrate, Eric! Speech! Come on, come on! Come on, Eric. Concentrate and get it written.
You've just seen here a wonderful clip from Stressed Eric's show. He's come home after an incredibly busy day and there's absolutely no cut-off to his day. He's carrying the strains, the stresses of that dreadful workplace he's in through into his home life. What we're going to be taking a look at now is what we can do to actually limit that. We're going to take a look at the work-life balancing acts. Work-life balance is about simply getting the balance right between work and home life. It's particularly important for people whose working lives tend to dominate and whose working lives are becoming increasingly stressful. And of course, it's whereby people are working very, very long hours, and even when they are getting home, they're not doing anything to compensate. So work-life balance is simply about getting some more me time in there.
I try to separate work and life quite a lot. In particular, I don't work at the weekends.
Often we'll talk to people, and it's been a long time since they've gone out and done something they used to really enjoy. They haven't dabbled in some of their favourite sports in many years. It's been many years since they've gone out and gone to the cinema or gone to a museum or done anything at all which used to really give them a buzz in life. They've allowed that to go. One of the first stopping points should be going back to these pleasures. And sometimes the old pleasures are no longer appropriate. It's very much about getting the balance right. And it's about making sure that there is pleasure in our lives, even if that has to be diarised or put on the kitchen wall planner.
As a result of today's presentation, a few things were suggested in terms of personal enjoyment and things that one may put off because they feel they're too busy or far too stressed. Listening to Steve's presentation made me feel that I should actually prioritise these a little bit more, so you can punctuate life with things that you enjoy, which I think will help you going forward.
We regret to inform passengers that though we have cleared the original body from the line, the man clearing that body has had a heart attack, and there is now a new body on the line.
The next area I think Eric could have benefited from was this whole idea of a change to his routine. However dominating work can be, the same thing 5 days a week can really add to the serious stress involved there. So we always encourage people to try and do something different at least once a week, even if that is something as simple as themselves and their family or whoever else they live with just gets together for a meal once a week.
It would help me to think after today's presentation a little bit more in terms of maybe trying to change my routine a little bit more to just not let myself get bored by the daily routine.
Don't panic, Eric. There's plenty of time. The nativity's not till 7. And once you've found the figures and got back to the office, all you've got to do is check the figures, correct the figures, retype the figures, print out the figures, copy the figures, distribute the figures, and deal with all the queries about the figures that are piled up while you're looking for the figures.
Afternoon, Mr. Berwick. Still off to the post?
Well done.
The coda is very important. In our experience, no more than 25% of people are able to switch off automatically from work. This means the rest of us are vulnerable to what we call the work-home continuum, whereby as you leave work and you go home, you are carrying the stresses of work through into your home life. Therefore, a corridor is something you do which helps you switch off. It could be mental, it could be physical. For some people, it's a mental activity. It's reading the newspaper, reading a chapter of their book, maybe on the tube going home or the train. For some, it's as simple as passing a landmark. For others, it's physical. It's something they'll do. Maybe they'll go to the gym on the way home. It's absolutely anything at all which tells you mentally that's the end of my working day. Of course, maybe a corridor you've had for some time. It's always worked, and now you're finding it's no longer working. This could well be due to the fact, of course, the intensity of the stress is now higher, and therefore you need to slightly increase the intensity of the corridor.
My corridor, I would say, is the when the shutter slide door shut as soon as I walk out the office. That's I would say that's my corridor.
I have a corridor. It's Sudoku, crossword puzzles, and a glass of wine.
Shutter.
That's extraordinary. Right-handed, left-handed, 6 or 4, the grace of Nureyev and the raw animal power of the North American bison.
The important thing here is, whatever you do, do it regularly. And if your version of exercise is a very moderate walk, just a few lengths of the pool, a very nice, easygoing cycle ride, make sure you're doing that 3 times a week and not once a month. Not only is walking good exercise, but of course, if you walk with a partner, of course, the quality of the conversation is going to improve. And what we tend to find is when we're stressed, we tend not to communicate as much as we should have done, and we tend to block out those who are close to us. Therefore, going for a short walk 2-3 times a week can be very, very useful.
I'm definitely going to take up some exercise and also improve my work-life balance. It tends to focus much too much on work.
It's time to get up.
Oh, God, please.
It's about modifying our intake of caffeine, alcohol, cigarettes and chocolate. Everything in moderation, I think, as our grandparents used to say. Let's recap on the 5 key areas. They're all incredibly simple. The first one is pleasure. Increase the amount of pleasure we get into our lives, assuming, of course, there isn't enough at the moment. Secondly, look at changing your routine. And this can only be very, very slight in some cases, but it will have an effect. Thirdly, probably most importantly, look at the corridor. What can we do, or what range of things can I do to allow me to switch off more effectively from work each night? Fourthly, exercise. Doesn't have to be great, but it does need to be regular. And fifthly, take a look at some of the substances maybe I'm becoming a little dependent on. I'd like to throw in a 6th one, just for good measure. And this may sound a little light, but it's do something kind every day. Just something small. Open the door for somebody, get someone a cup of tea, let somebody out in front of you in traffic. When we're feeling at our lowest, this can actually give us quite a buzz. If someone then thanks us, it's an even greater buzz. And if someone then reciprocates that, the buzz becomes even greater.
Yes! Wee! Come on. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Wow, baby, come on.